Ever think about how your food gets from a farm to your table and who's making that whole journey smarter, faster, and, more sustainable? Well, today, we're diving into the amazing world of agripreneurship. This is where farming meets some seriously cutting-edge business innovation. Let's get into it.
So, when I say the word agriculture, what's the first image that pops into your head? Is it like a field, some dirt, maybe an old tractor? For a long time, that was pretty much the entire picture. But here in the 21st century, believe me, that's just where the story begins.
You got to think again. Welcome to Agripreneurship. Just look at how this all connects. You've got agriculture over here and entrepreneurship over there. But the real magic? It happens right in the middle, where innovation, market strategy, and sustainability all slam together to create this powerful, self-sustaining system.
All right, so let's start with the absolute basics and get a good handle on this. What exactly is agripreneurship, and why does it go so far beyond just the farm?
So at its core, agripreneurship is all about taking that entrepreneurial mindset and applying it to the entire agricultural sector. And that's the key. It's not just about what's happening out in the fields. It's about finding new ways to process, to package, to market, and to get that final product to you, the consumer. It's about seeing business opportunities in every single link of that chain.
And to really get it, we've got to bust some old myths. First off, this is not just a fancy new name for traditional farming. Nope, and it's definitely not some low-income hobby. These ventures can be incredibly profitable. And forget the idea that it doesn't require business skills or it's only for folks in the countryside. Today's agripreneurs are tech-savvy, they're highly educated, and they are changing the game from rural fields all the way to urban labs.
This chart here, it lays out the journey of an agripreneur perfectly. It's a step-by-step process, basically a roadmap that takes you from that first little spark of an idea all the way to a business that's making a real impact. And this is the exact path we're going to follow right now.
So, first things first, where do you start? Well, every great business starts with a great idea. So let's talk about how you find that tiny seed of an opportunity in this huge agricultural landscape. So where do these big ideas come from? You start by looking at the whole agri-food value chain. Honestly, think of this thing as a treasure map for entrepreneurs. Every single step you see here, from growing the raw materials to processing them to distribution and sales, every one of them is a potential source of problems. And for an agripreneur, every problem is just an opportunity in disguise.
Let's make this super concrete. Take harvesting, for example. A huge problem is post-harvest loss, food just spoiling before it can ever be sold. A potential solution? A business that creates low-cost cold storage. Or look at market access. Problem: farmers can't find good buyers. Solution: a digital platform, an app that connects them directly. See? You find the pain point in the chain and you build a business to fix it.
Okay, so you've found a problem to solve. That's awesome. But an idea is totally useless if you don't really truly understand the person you're trying to help. It's time to get to know your customer.
And the best tool for this, hands down, is the customer persona. Now, this isn't just some generic description like, oh, farmers, age 30 to 50. No way. A persona is a detailed, almost lifelike profile of your ideal customer. What are their biggest headaches? What are their dreams? What actually motivates them? Getting this right is the bedrock of a successful business.
And here's a perfect example. You give them a name, an age, a backstory, and, this is the most important part, you give them specific goals. This isn't just a farmer. This is Paul Brown, a 36-year-old team leader who has very specific things he's trying to achieve. This tool literally turns your abstract target market into a real person you can design for.
And if you want to go even deeper, you can use tools like these. On the left, you've got the empathy map. It forces you to think past what your customer says and really consider what they're thinking and feeling on the inside. Then on the right, the customer journey map is like writing the story of their experience with the problem you're trying to solve. What are the high points? What are the low points? Both of these help you build real empathy, which is absolutely crucial for creating a solution they'll actually use. All right, you have an idea. You really get your customer. Now it's time to actually bring that idea to life. We're moving into prototyping, where your idea becomes that first little tangible sprout of a real business.
So why do we prototype? It's really simple. You have to test your assumptions before you sink a ton of time and money into something. A prototype isn't about being perfect. It's about learning. It's about getting real feedback from real people so you can avoid making a huge, expensive mistake later on.
This is the Value Proposition Canvas, and it's an amazing tool for making sure you're not just building something cool, but something people actually need. See, on the right side, You map out your customer's world, their jobs, their frustrations, we call those pains, and what success looks like for them, their gains. Then, on the left, you design your product. The whole goal is to create pain relievers that directly solve their frustrations and gain creators that help them win. When those two sides click together, that's the magic. That's what we call product-market fit.
And here is what a fantastic value proposition actually sounds like. Notice how crystal clear this is. It tells you exactly who it's for, smallholder farmers, what their problem is, they're in dry regions, and what the solution does. It's a reliable, affordable way to water crops. It's simple, it's direct, and it's incredibly powerful.
And remember, prototyping isn't a one-and-done kind of thing. It is a cycle. It's a loop. You build something, you test it, you learn from what people tell you, you make it better, and then you do it all over again. Each time you go through this loop, you get one step closer to a product that customers will absolutely love.
Okay, we've got a great idea, we understand our customer, and we have a prototype that's been tested. But none of that matters one bit if the business can't make money. It's time for the harvest, making the numbers work.
So these two images you're looking at, they basically tell the entire financial story. On the left, you figure out all your costs and where your money is coming from, your revenue streams. Once you know that, you can create the chart on the right, which is your break-even analysis. That exact spot where the revenue line crosses the total cost line, that's your break-even point. Everything above that line is profit.
Now, to really get a grip on your finances, you have to understand the two basic kinds of costs. First, you have fixed costs. These are the bills that are the same every month, no matter what. Things like rent or salaries. Then you have variable costs. These go up or down depending on how much you produce. So, the more you grow, the more you spend on things like seeds, fuel, or packaging. The real key to being profitable is managing both of these smartly.
And finally, how do you pay for all this? Well, as you can see, there's a whole menu of options. You might start out with your own personal savings or maybe win a grant in a competition. As you start to grow, you could look into microfinance or get a loan from a bank. And if your idea has the potential to get really big, you might even seek out angel investors or venture capital. The main takeaway here is that the right way to get funding changes as your business grows up.
So there you have it. From a simple idea all the way to a sustainable business, that is the agripreneur's journey. It's a path that demands creativity, a solid strategy, and a deep understanding of both the land and the market. The world is absolutely hungry for innovation. So the final question is pretty simple. What seed will you plant?